For 31 nights, I'm bringing you 31 movies to send chills down your spine. Welcome to 31 Days of Halloween. October 2nd, 2025, we are talking about Sam Raimi's masterpiece, Evil Dead. With an 86% tomato meter and an 84% popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is a 7.4 on IMDb. It was released in 1981, directed by Sam Raimi. This was his first feature film. You may know him from Spider-Man, but this is where it all began. This is his first feature film after directing a short proof of concept short film called Within the Woods that was just an investment tool to get funding for this movie. This was his first movie. The Evil Dead had a reported budget of $375,000. However, I got quite a few numbers on the internet. That was the highest one I found, so let's go with that. However, it grossed $2.4 million domestically and became a cult classic, launching 2 sequels, a 2013 reboot, and even a TV show, not to mention the long-acting career of Bruce Don't Call Me Ash Campbell. A true comedy of horrors, this gore fest from 1981 is original, one-of-a-kind, and the first place that any of us saw those very typical horror movie tropes that we all know and love today. As mentioned, it was directed by Sam Raimi with his 2 best friends. This is a movie done by 3 friends that just wanted to do a movie. We've got Sam Raimi, Bruce Don't Call Me Ash Campbell, and Robert Tappert, who became the producer on the film. It's a very simple plot. 5 friends go on a trip to a cabin in the woods that just so happens to be a cabin where a scientist was previously working on supernatural phenomenon, and they somehow unleash all the evil. Despite subpar acting and terribly written dialogue, the film gained its cult following because of its innovation in cinematography. It did a lot of clay work, claymation. It did a lot of things that weren't done. The score accompaniment is fantastic. It's mostly classical instruments, but a lot of times it's like long screeching notes. A lot of times it's just long sustained high-pitched notes. A lot of times it's atonal. It's a very good score to accompany this movie. There's also a lot of chanting in the background, which makes it a little extra creepy. This is a low-budget body horror film with a lot of special effects that you'll probably think are cheesy nowadays. A lot of dry ice, smoke machines, floodlights, a lot of things that we're just used to now. I love this movie for what it is. It's a fun gore fest. It's a ride, man. It's an hour and a half of gory ridiculousness, and I love every minute of it. I love the second one. I love Army of Darkness. I love a lot of what Sam Raimi did with this movie. Now, I didn't watch this in 1981 because I wasn't born, but I personally love the very ambiguous ending where Ash just ends with a camera rush to his face. And I love the horribly inappropriate happy song at the very end credits. Top 5 interesting facts for the film Evil Dead. Fact number 5. The film Evil Dead was shot on location in a cabin in Tennessee with 13 crew members that all slept on location. This is a low-budget film. They all slept in that cabin, on the floor, on the beds, on the couch, wherever they could. They stayed there the entire time of shooting. Interesting fact number 4. Ash wasn't supposed to be presumed to be alive. It was just assumed that everyone would think he was dead because the evil got him in the end. But 6 years later, story changed whenever money comes into effect. Interesting fact number 3, 1977's The Hills Have Eyes gets a cameo in the movie as a little homage to the movie. And downstairs in the basement, there is a poster on the wall of The Hills Have Eyes that is half folded. Interesting fact number 2 about The Evil Dead. Joel Cohen worked as an assistant editor on the film. That's how he got his break in Hollywood. Yeah. Joel and Ethan Cohen, that Cohen. That's how he got his break in Hollywood. And because The Evil Dead financed by a short film called Within the Woods, Joel and Ethan Cohen went ahead and did the same thing with a short film to finance their first movie, Simple Blood. An interesting fact number 1 about The Evil Dead: a lot of its success can be attributed to Stephen King writing a lengthy 1-page article review of this movie, calling it one of his top 5 favorite movies of all time, and praising the entire movie for what it did with cinematography and the horror genre. My retro recommendation for The Evil Dead, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. It is not a must-watch. 7 out of 10 must-watch. If you're not a fan of horror, you don't need to watch it. If you're not a fan of body horror, or if that turns your stomach, you definitely don't need to watch it. And for our Halloween ranking system, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 2 on the jump scare meter, a 2 out of 2 on the chills up your spine goosebumps meter. It's pretty much straightforward a gore fest, so 5 out of 5 on the gore meter. My personal story with the movie The Evil Dead: when I was 16, my best friend and I, Dustin, we would buy DVDs, and because we were both goth kids, we shaved our eyebrows, we wore black makeup and, black combat boots and all that. We, of course, started buying a lot of classic gore fest, horror, body horror, all kinds of movies old movies, Stanley Kubrick movies. We were just fascinated with cinema. I always wanted to make movies. I'm pretty sure everyone watching as well has. But my personal story with this movie, him and I got it whenever we were 16 years old. We loved it. We bought the second one. We bought Army of Darkness. We loved all of these movies, and I remember watching them fondly with him. Special features for this edition are quite easy. There aren't any. You can watch it in the original 4:3 aspect ratio or in the standard common widescreen format. No extra features. That's Evil Dead!